Have you ever imagined a garden that grows more like a forest? One that's less about backbreaking work and more about working with nature? Well, today, we're diving into a concept that does exactly that.
I mean, just look at this. This is the goal, right? A garden that pretty much takes care of itself. The whole idea of an edible forest garden is to create this beautiful, productive space by copying the design of a young, natural woodland. It might sound like pure magic, but really, it's just smart biology. So what do we actually mean when we say a garden can be a forest? Let's nail down a clear definition.
Okay, there's a lot of good stuff packed in here. Perennial, that means the plants come back every single year, so no constant replanting. Multi-purpose means these plants are doing more than one job. But the real key is mutually beneficial combinations. The plants literally help each other out. This isn't just random planting. It's a super thoughtful, interconnected system.
So why even bother trying to mimic a forest? Well, honestly, it's about completely flipping the script on how we think about growing food. Think about it. On one hand, you've got the typical way we do things. It's all about annuals. You got to replant them every year. It needs tons of water, tons of fertilizer, and you often see just one single crop, which is a magnet for pests. And over time, it just wears out the soil. But then you look at the forest garden model. It's built on tough perennials. It's designed to be self-sufficient. It thrives on diversity. And here's the amazing part. It actually builds healthier soil over time. The difference is night and a huge part of the magic here is happening where you can't even see it. Underground, there's this incredible cooperative network. You've got plants with deep roots that go way down and pull up nutrients that other plants can't reach. Then, when those plants drop their leaves, all those hard-to-get nutrients become food for the whole community. They're not fighting for resources, they're sharing them. Okay, so how do you actually make this happen? How do you structure all this cooperation? The trick is to think in layers, just like you'd find in a real forest. This right here is the blueprint. Instead of a flat garden row, you're building a three-dimensional living system. You're stacking everything vertically, from tall trees down to ground covers and roots. By doing this, you're using every single inch of space and every bit of sunlight. It's just an incredibly efficient way to grow things. So let's take a quick tour through these 7 layers. Way up top, you've got the canopy, your big nut trees. Right below that is the understory, with smaller fruit trees. Then you have your shrub layer, which is perfect for all kinds of berries. The herbaceous layer is for your kitchen herbs and leafy greens. Covering the soil is the ground cover layer, which acts like a living mulch. Under the surface, you have the rhizosphere for all your root crops. And finally, weaving its way through all of it is the vertical layer, your vines and climbers. Okay, so let's make this feel real. For your upper layers, you could have these gorgeous persimmon trees giving you fruit from the understory, and then you could surround them with shrubs like gumi berries. Now, not only are they delicious, but they actually pull nitrogen from the air and put it in the soil, basically fertilizing their neighbors for free. How cool is that? And then down below, the garden is working just as hard. You can have plants like comfrey in your herbaceous layer, which are famous for mining minerals from deep in the subsoil. And then, in that rhizosphere layer, you're pulling up amazing foods like these groundnuts. The big takeaway here is that every single layer can have a job to do and give you something in return. So you've done the design, you've planted the layers. What happens next? Well, you get an absolute explosion of variety and abundance. You get this incredible harvest of fruits, like these sweet, colorful persimmons just glowing in the sun. You get bushes just dripping with berries, all kinds of them. It creates a continuous harvest that can last for months.
You're harvesting from below the ground, digging up nutritious, protein-packed roots.
And you can grow these really unique, vibrant tubers you would literally never find in a regular supermarket, like this mashua. The sheer variety is just mind-blowing. And we're talking about so much more than just a salad bowl. Of course, you get nuts and seeds, fruits and berries. But you also get edible flowers, medicinal herbs. You can even grow your own mushrooms and harvest materials for building projects or even fuel. It's the whole shebang. But, and this is important, none of this abundance happens by accident. It all comes back to a really smart plan. It starts with just watching your land, understanding your local climate, and then carefully picking plants that you know are going to work together as a team.
So, this all brings us to a really big question. It's a cool idea, for sure, but what does it really mean for us? I mean, what if you could have your own little edible ecosystem right outside your back door?
Because these gardens, there's so much more than just a source of groceries. They become thriving habitats for birds and pollinators. They pull carbon out of the air and build rich, living soil. And maybe, just as important, they become these beautiful places for peace and for reconnecting with the natural world around us.
So, we'll just leave you with this one thought to chew on. In a world full of really complex problems, what if one of the most powerful, positive, and, radical things any of us could do is to just plant a garden like this? What do you think?